Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for my 21st audiolog. First order of business, it's finally time to talk about what main title to translate next. We actually still have about 7 weeks or so, probably until it's time for the new title to actually start, but since it can take a month to import a game from Japan, I have to take the vote early. Plus, I want to give people some time to decide if they want to become patrons to vote. Right now, I only have about 14 patrons, and only 4 or so vote regularly, so, even if you become a patron for just $1 a month, that earns you a vote in any decisions I put up for the channel. That includes titles that get translated and read, and what order the characters get played in, and in many cases, even the voices that I use. The patronage helps to pay for the cost of the translations, since I pay for them on the main title. I've been paying for it mostly out of pocket up until now, and there are other costs involved with running the channel as well. Currently, I'm down to spending about $300 a month out of pocket, and still every waking moment of my life to keep this going. So if there's a particular title that I list here that you really want to see translated, you may want to see if you can tweet or blog or anything to get others to join in the patronage and vote for whatever particular title you're interested in. There's quite a few titles that I'd really love to see, so there's a lot of options on my list to choose from. Since there may not be very many voters, to avoid a tie, I'm going to try this, and hopefully it helps. When people vote, I'm going to let them choose the top 3 titles that they want to see most, in order. For instance, somebody's top vote will be worth 3 points, their second one will be worth 2 points, and their third one will be worth 1 point. And hopefully that'll avoid any ties. So since I have so many titles that I'm interested in, I will list all the options in the description along with links to their official web pages. And of course, you can also look up any reviews on them, but I don't think I really like any English reviewers out there, so I'm not linking to any of them. I mean, not that I don't like them, it's just that I don't agree with their opinions on anything, pretty much, so I don't want to push their opinions on anybody else either. I think I did my due diligence in making sure that it's okay to post videos on all these particular games, but in case I made a mistake, the second ranking title will be the backup. And so I will give you the options. This is going to take a little while. Okay, Vita games that I currently own. Well, it's an option to continue Reine de Fleurs before we start the next title. We're working on Gislin's route right now. But there's still Orpheus, Louis, and Hubert that are possibilities to all be read still. So it's a possibility to continue Reine de Fleurs, which I would love to do because there's a lot about Louis and Orpheus in particular that you don't know at all. I mean, really big secrets that are really interesting. And I would love to read those and find that out because I think a lot of people would find them a lot more interesting if you guys knew the stuff about them. And you can actually read the review pages on them if you want and read a little bit about the spoilers to see if you're interested in actually hearing the story. Well, anyway, that's an option. Second option is Clap, Kind, Love, and Punish. I have the first episode, I have like part of the intro translated by Pink Cupcake, but that's a possibility to become the main title. And Gaku and K, Wonderful Days. This is an Otome game based on the anime K. I don't know about any of you, but I love that anime so much. I don't really like school settings, but I would love to play this because I love the K anime. I haven't finished watching Return of the Kings yet, but I'm in the middle of it. And then there's also Yunoha Spring. I'm not usually into these, everyday cutesy things, but I really like the art in this, and there's 2 people in particular that looked really interesting in this game to me, so that's an option. And Diabolic Lovers, the first game, was it called Haunted Bridal or something like that? I had gotten permission from one of the translators to use some of the existing translation, but since there are so many translators involved, it would probably be better for me to just do translation from scratch with Momoko, since many of the translators are unreachable at this point anyway. So thus, Diabolic Lovers, the first game, is an option to become the main title. But be aware that this is a dark and messed up game, much more so than the anime, and I don't know, you all might not be anticipating just quite exactly what is involved in this. Next option is Rare Fleurs, or I'm not really sure how to pronounce it exactly. I think that's how you pronounce it. But Red of Another. I believe this is a short game, so if you wanted to squeeze that in as a short option, we could do that. I think it looks quite pretty. And then there's also Brothers Conflict, Precious Baby, which is the combination of both Brothers Conflict Pink and Blue, the Vita version. So that would include both of those 2 games. And then there is Moshi no ko sekai ni kami ga Iru to Saru Naraba. This game deals with some very, very messed up issues. So I'm not counting on that many people being interested in it, but I wanted to put it up anyway because I'm interested in it. I really like dark, twisted stories. Because I'm a big horror fan and I watch a lot of crime shows, I like Criminal Minds and things like that. So if you're a fan of those kind of things and you don't mind really twisted storylines because you feel like it adds depth to things, you might like it. I mean, like I said, it's my kind of thing, but it's not a lot of people's kind of thing. I also have Kamigami no Asobi Infinite, which is the second game, the sequel. But do you really want the second game before the first one, I'll talk about the first game a little bit farther down, because that's a bit of a different beast. Alright, now some Vita games that I don't own yet, but I'm willing to purchase. Ken ga Kimi. This game looks gorgeous, and I would love to play it. This is my top pick that I really want to play that I don't have yet. And Collar X Malice. It's not coming out until July 28th, so if we opt to do that one, then I would have to do a couple episodes of something else as an intermission, probably. Because I think I'll be done with Giselan and Reine de Fleur before that. But I'm really excited about that title, and that's something I would love to see done. But I also have somebody else who might be doing irregular translations for that. Might be. We don't know, though. And another option is Amnesia Later X Crowd for Vita. There's a Vita version that combines those two. That's what comes after the first Amnesia game that was released in English, Amnesia Memories. So if you wanted to see Amnesia sequels, this is the game to vote for. And then Noir 9 The Last Era, which a lot of people were interested in because they enjoyed the first Noir 9 game. And since we haven't had any announcements for the sequels to be released in English, I figure it's safe to make that an option because who knows if we'll be getting it or not. But if they do announce that they're going to make it into English, if we start this, I'm going to discontinue it whenever, if we find out it's going to become English. And the last Vita game option that I don't have, the Code Realize fan disc, I'm not sure the translation is exactly the future of Realize, Blessing, or something like that, but I don't know when it's coming out. So that's part of why we have the ranking system, because there's no set date for when this is getting released. It might not even get released till December or something, and who knows, sometimes release dates get pushed back, so it might not even be till next year, depending on how they work on it. But that's an option, and I know a lot of people would probably love to see that. Alright, now some PSP options, and these games would be lower quality since it's PSP, but they are options. The ones that I have right now are Juzai Engetsu Sengokuden. But there's also a Vita version of it. If people actually voted for that, I probably would buy the Vita version instead. But the Vita version is called One Half, so I know that it contains the first game, but I'm not sure if it contains the second game too, or if it contains a fan disc. If anybody actually knows about that, let me know, because I would love to know the exact deal with it. I also have Wand of Fortune, which is a very popular game, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. There's a Vita version for that as well, so if that title was selected, I would buy the Vita version of that. Then there is Genro, which is another game that looks really beautiful. But I think this and Ken ga Kimi, they're both in the same category for me, that two things that look beautiful and I would love to play. But this one's the PSP one, and there's no Vita version of it, unfortunately. And I also have Death Connection, which I'm interested in, but it's a dark horse title, so I'm not expecting any votes for it, if many. But the first episode of that has been translated by Pink Cupcakes, so I will be doing the first episode of that at least, at some point. And I also have unENDing Bloody Call, another darker looking title that looks interesting to me, but I don't know if anybody else is interested. And I have Nise no Chigiri, which I think there are 2 games of that, but I only have the one. And I also have the first Hiiro no Kakera. There's an anime for it, if any of you have watched that. If you haven't, it's worth a check, because I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not one of my favorite animes or anything, but it's enjoyable. And I also have one of the sequels to Hiiro no Kakera, but since it's not actually numbered, I'm not sure which one it is, but it's Piece of the Future. So I'm not sure which number sequel that is, but I don't think it has anything to do, sequentially with characters or anything, so I think it's safe to do that all by itself. It has a different art style, so I think it looks pretty good. But as far as PSP titles that I don't own yet that I would love to purchase to read, Armen Noir is another one that I'm really interested in, and I would have it now, except that I haven't found any good deals on it yet. But that's another one that's up there with like unENDing, Bloody Call, and Death Connection. Now, there are these 3 titles that are being translated on an irregular basis by other fan translators, but if people would like to see them become the main title, I should be able to swing that. The irregular translators might not mind if I let Momoko be the main translator on that. And plus, mine and Momoko's translations aren't exactly, super accurate or great, so they might want to keep doing their own translations, even though Momoko and I are doing ours. Those titles that are an option, but even if you don't choose them as the main title, they'll still be getting slowly translated on an irregular basis. Those are Shinobi Koi Utsutsu, Binary Star, and Dance with Devils. You've already seen me put up some videos for Shinobi Koi Utsutsu and Binary Star. Dance with Devils I haven't put up any yet, but it will be coming soon. And just for reference, there are 3 titles that I'm working on a regular basis that are not options for the main title, because they either have a fairly regular translator or there's a significant amount of it already translated. And I need the main title to be translated by Momoko, because she kind of depends on me a little bit. Alright, so those 3 titles are Trigger Kiss, which is getting translated every other week by Olorin, Kamigami no Asubi, which has, I think the entire game is translated. I'm not completely sure, I haven't checked that closely. But I'll tell you the deal with that in a couple of minutes. And Arcana Famiglia, which, another thing, I'm not sure, I don't think that's completely translated, but I'll tell you the deal with that too later on in a minute. This is going to sound a little bit complicated, but bear with me. I'll talk about it again when it actually comes down to making the decision. For Kamigami no Asubi, what I'm going to do is this. It'll be an option to replace the secondary readings, meaning once Destiny's Princess and Nameless are finished, instead of reading another English title, I could do Kamigami no Asubi instead. However, because translation titles take a lot longer to do, I could only do 3 episodes a week instead of 5. Arcana Famiglia, though, it's possible that could be the second title, and that one I could actually do 5 days a week, because the translator for that is planning on making her own subtitle versions, so I don't have to make subtitle videos for her. So I only have to do the narrated versions. So I can swing 5 videos of that a week because I won't be doing the subtitle version, which takes much, much longer. That takes actually the majority of the time on making the translation videos. Phew. Okay, now that that's all out of the way, I'm going to both rave and lament that this time next weekend I'll be all alone here with the rest of my family being down in Florida. I talked about this some in my last audiolog. I'm pretty excited to have some significant time alone, but also a little bit sad that I'm skipping out on the family trip to Disney World for the first time. And I'm going to be missing my niece and nephew's first visit to the park. Though my nephew can't really enjoy it probably since he's not even a year old yet. But my niece is nearly 5, so she's gonna love it. And she's super excited about this. My life is so sedentary right now, though, that I can't imagine I'll be able to keep up with everyone else. It's also a teensy bit scary that everyone I'm close to is going, so I really hope nothing goes wrong around here while they're gone, because I don't really have anybody to turn to. I'm hoping to go next time they make the trip, though. Hopefully I'll be in a better financial situation by then. I've just invested way too much money recently into trying to get Otome games more popular, and I've been pushing hard to get as many videos ahead as I can so that I can take a few of those alone days off from working on the channel. I think I finally made a decent amount of headway. I can't wait to finally have a day off again without being sick. I can't wait. Not much else is going on. My life is so sadly uneventful since I spend all my time on the channel. Oh, actually there is one more thing I have to talk about. As anyone that's been listening to my audiologs regularly knows, one of my strategies in trying to draw people to Otome games is trying to draw in people that are looking for audiobooks. But if any of you out there have any other ideas as to other cross audiences that I might be able to incorporate to expose them to Otome games, please let me know. I've racked my brain and I haven't been able to think of anything else. I can't really cross with anime or manga much because I want to avoid any accidental copyright strikes from trigger-happy anime copyright sweeps like the one I had earlier this year from Norn 9 when they were trying to remove the illegally uploaded Norn 9 anime videos. Yeah, I don't know if anybody out there would have any ideas, but I figured it couldn't hurt to ask. And I guess that's it for today. I hope lots of you out there are excited for the upcoming votes in the next translation series. Please spread the word if you can. Thanks a bunch, everyone. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.